From the Brojas to the Onanas, we're here to talk about West Ham's transfer news as we look like we're going to be very busy again in the next couple of weeks as we look to sign down all of the players that David Moyes thinks we need for the upcoming season. We're also going to talk about the pre-season friendlies that are going on as we speak, as West Ham United, as a squad on a whole, plays Boreham Wood and Ipswich as we speak tonight in a couple of pre-season friendlies. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Hope you're well in the chat. I'm joined by a guest tonight. I've got John with me from Iron Sport and Food Bags. John, how are you?
I'm all good, thanks. Yeah, really good. Enjoying this warm weather.
Yeah, it's hot, isn't it? It
when you're still at school in class.
Yeah, it is. It is, you know. We moan that we don't get any hot weather and then it comes and we're all like, oh, it's a bit of an inconvenience. We're not used to it, I think is the word. We're not used to it. Let's see who we've got in the chat. Gary, I hope you will. Let's get the Broja deal done and dusted. Lingard can do what he wants. We're going to try and not talk about Lingard because I think everybody's bored, quite frankly, of talking about Lingard and, you know, we've got better things to do. Kent, hope you are. Sky Sports News say Broja not the only four. We are in for, and we have some news about that as well. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Kent says no mention of, and we're reportedly set to go in again for Lille midfield. We're going to talk about Onana again in a second. Let's start off with the main part of this video. And that's about Broja. We're talking about him again. A couple of quite good developments in the last day or so. John, we've had Darmesh from Sky Sports and of course X come out as well by saying basically Broja wants to move to West Ham, and then Darmesh has said West Ham are continuing talks with Chelsea. West Ham's preference is a permanent deal, and Broja's preference is for him to come to West Ham. He wants to come to West Ham. We want it to happen for around £30 million. We're hoping it happens. I think Chelsea are just the only block in the way at the moment. What do you make of Broja, John?
Well, from what you said, the sounds are quite good. All I've heard is that he wants to stay in London and he wants a permanent move. And, we saw bits of him last season. He's established in the Premier League. He's the sort of money that we should be spending now. We've got to be thinking of, top 5, top 6 and those sorts of players. And, we're looking in the right areas. So I just hope we can get the deal done and dusted quickly.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully something a bit like the Flynn Downs thing where we've got the developments and now we can get it done. But to be fair, if it does take a bit of time, I don't think it's solely our fault, because I do think Chelsea are being a little bit annoying to us by coming back. Well, we want Broja, we want Rice, but hopefully we're going to get past that now. We can get it done. His preference is to move to West Ham. Let's get another guest's view on this. Phil, hope you are well. Armando Broja, what are your thoughts?
Evening, boys. Hope you're all well. All good. Broja. Look, we've been linked with him all this summer. Exciting young player. Obviously, he was at Southampton last season. I really hope we can get this deal done because he's young, so he's got a lot of potential there. And also, for whatever we pay, he could have even though I'd like players to stay for a very long time, he could have a sell-on value as well because it's not like he's a player who's washed up and he's at the end of his career. So he's got all the potential to, really go far in the game if he knuckles down. And look, we haven't bought a striker in 3 years now, is it? So makes it even worse. We haven't actually signed a striker in this decade. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So I know, just to make matters worse, but if we can get the deal done, that'd be brilliant, because it is a bit annoying, it's just, but we're used to it where we get linked with players and it's an ongoing saga throughout the entire summer, and then it either happens or it don't. I like this one to be done, especially before the season starts. Get it done. But like you said earlier, it's like we want Broja and they want Rice. He ain't going there, but we want Broja over to come to us. And if he wants to join us, that's brilliant. Just get it done. Simple as that. It's not like he's travelling far. He's only, Chelsea's only across London. So it should be all right. I think we'll sign him.
It should be. Yeah, hopefully we can get it over the line. Let's see who else we have got in the chat. Sharky using my favourite emoji, that is the Craig Dawson emoji. One thing that is notable about the pre-season games tonight, Craig Dawson's been given a rest. He's been told to sit up and have a bottle of beer tonight by watching them, which is nice. Hopefully that's not injury based and he's just being rested tonight, but you never know. Hello to everybody in the chat. Rob, hope you're well. Trodge as well. Sean says may have been told already he is not in Tuchel's plans. If that comes out now, yeah, fingers crossed he's not. They've just signed Raheem Sterling, haven't they? I think the whole point of it was they were going to be annoying to us, and at the end of the day, John, they wanted to get some attacking reinforcements in because of course they'd let go Lukaku, go Broja at a stage where they hadn't signed anybody. Would look a bit stupid because they'd be left with no strikers. They've got in an attacking player like Raheem Sterling, and now I think they might be open to selling Broja, which works perfect into our hands.
Yeah. And it's down to him. If he's unhappy there at Chelsea, then they've had him for long enough on the books to know what they've got. And say if there's a revolving door there, and they've got other people to bring in, that's their choice. But I see from the games tonight now, we're 1 goal up already.
Are we?
Downs scored on 3 minutes.
Downs has scored his debut goal for West Ham. There we go. Christ, you are ahead of the game, John.
I'm only seeing it on the official website. I think it's covering both teams.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Brilliant. Oh, that's good. That's good. We'll get more about that in just a second. I'll just try and fetch it. Where are we? Oh, I can't see it. Hey ho, but it sounds like Flynn Downs has scored on his West Ham debut. Of course, Phil, he moved to the club last week. So sounds like a pretty good signing, doesn't it?
It does. Obviously, it come out of the blue. No one knew about it until about 24 hours before it actually happened. So, shame we can't do all our deals like that. He's, I know we've been linked with Championship players in the past, and I didn't know too much about Flynn Downs. I only knew of him because I did a Football Manager save with Ipswich a couple of years ago. That's how I knew of him. But yeah, I didn't know he was. He's from Brentwood, isn't he? And he's a West Ham fan, so that always works well. So it gives him more reason for wanting to sign for us. And so he's over the moon, and it's a good extra body in midfield. I think in time, gradually, if he plays well, then he will become a first team starter. As well, it's a big step up as well. Coming up to Premier League. So I don't know. Obviously, he played in the Championship last season with Swansea. I'm not too sure how many games he played in the Championship with Ipswich because they've been down in League One a couple of years before that. But it's a good signing all round. You could say he's like a noble replacement, really. Younger, a bit more energy. And those stats I saw as well. He's got one of the highest. He had one of the highest passing completion rates as well. So yeah, it's good. Get more players like that. That's good. Still got another month or so before the window's gone.
They are the players that we should be looking to sign, I think. Let's have a look at the chat. Yes, we're going to talk about this in a second. It's all unrolling as we speak currently about West Ham's interest, about Scamacca. I think his name, I just butchered his name. But it's all unraveling about a potential bidding coming for him. We will get onto that in a second, but that is coming out as we are live on air, so we'll get to that in a second. Paul said Chelsea are asking too much money for Broja. He is only 20 years of age with limited experience, but it is an investment for the future. I think it's a no-brainer personally. Anything under £30 million, and as Phil rightly said earlier on, a player with a sell-on value is a player that we could have for 3 or 4 years, who then could go on to bigger and better things, and we could make a good striker out of him and a profit a few years down the line. I think he's a no-brainer personally. Jordan, hope you well. Top job, lads. Do you think DM would play? David Moyes would play two up front? I don't know.
It's a different game to before.
Yeah. John, it's not what David Moyes has swayed towards in the past seasons, but we need to get one striker before we can think about playing two up front. You could say Antonio is that one, but if we sign a a striker? Could you see David Moyes putting them together in a kind of Antonio and whoever that striker is kind of role?
Well, I think it might be an option because we played a certain way on the break last season, and people know that is how we play. But if it gives us options from the bench, and I think if we got 5 subs from next season to pick from, there's a lot of that gives us a lot of options. And I think certainly after a year's experience in Europe, we played against different teams and different setups, and this will give us a bit more flexibility if from time to time he settles with 2 up front.
Yeah, he may well do. It could be something that David Moyes does pursue in the coming season. Troy says really wanted to see Downs on the ball. Yeah, the streams have been dodgy. Nobody seems to be able to get anything from Ipswich or Boreham Wood for a matter of fact. So good job we're not going to try and do a watch long, is it? Because that would be a shambles. Kent says, I'm not sure about Broja for 30 million, 20 to 25 with add-ons, but I can see us buying wide forwards instead. Yeah, to be fair, David Moyes loves to buy a wide forward and don't try and convert them more centrally. But I do think that we are close to signing Broja personally. So he's the man. He's the man that David Moyes has been searching for 2 or 3 years. He is the man. Hopefully. Gary, evening, where you been, young man? I've been nowhere. I've just took a couple of days off doing this on here. But yeah, not at all going on a 2-week cruise on Saturday. So you get a 2-week break from me then. So you can, just put me out of your mind for 2 weeks. Sean says prices seem to just generally go up. 30 million was 20 million 2 to 3 years ago. Markets have just moved on. And this is why I think paying £30 million for Broja is an absolute steal, personally. I think it is a really, really good buy. Rob says, don't think Royce will go, and should we have another great season and a better league position, who knows what sort of contract he'd be happy to sign. 5 years would be lovely. We would be dreaming to get that, I think, Rob. But, at the end of the day, we could see what happens. Declan Rice is in attendance. He's not in the squad tonight. He is in attendance at Boreham Wood watching the game.
Small correction, by the way. Downs hasn't scored. Just reading this properly, that the headline actually says Downs makes his mark. But that's because he's fouled someone after 3 minutes. So that's mark. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's right. We're still 0-0 at Portman Road. Of course, there are loads of youngsters on show in the last in these 2 games and in the game versus Servette. We'll get onto that in just a second. Sharky giving us all the emojis, things you love to see. Let's scroll down. Gary says, wouldn't pay more than 25 million for Broja. He'd done nothing second part of the season. We will still be talking to him in 8 years' time. To be fair, that's a good point. He didn't really do much in the second half of the season, but I think we have better players around him. I think he does be better, personally.
And the coaching as well, I think, Jake, should make a difference. We've got Warburton now on board, who with so much experience. Our backroom staff, we've never known it to be so strong and experienced, let's say. And, that could swing it for players coming in now.
Yeah, I think so. I think with the backroom staff there, the setup that we're building, players like Broja will go, I'm not going to get first team football here at Chelsea. Realistically, they're going to bring someone better in. If West Ham are calling, I'll go at the end of the day. David says, with Broja, Chelsea probably put Declan into the mix, and maybe therefore West Ham moved on to Scamacca. Yeah, I think there might be a bit of, well, let's go and hunt this guy and see whether Chelsea see it, to see whether their stance changed, to see whether they really want to sell him. That could be what's going on. We'll talk about that in just a second, though. Let's scroll down. Rob says, if we bought a starting striker, then Antonio would slip back to his natural spot out on the left, right back, right wing, not right back, I beg. We've got enough right backs, not right back. No, I think he will stay there, and I think there'll be kind of an alternating system, depending on what quality striker we do bring in. Sharky says, school holidays soon. Used to love them. Oh, it's brilliant, Sharky. 6 weeks off. You won't get that in any job.
No, you don't.
It is still 0-0, Hammerhead. It certainly is, but it does look like we are on top. Half chances at both ends at Portman Road, and West Ham in Scamacca talks with Salsolo, allegedly. We certainly are, hopefully, fingers crossed. HL says Lo Celso and Reguilón both at the Boreham Wood game. Make of that what you will. Yeah, we do, and I'm sure Sean will put something in the chat about this as well. But somebody's just put on Twitter, apparently Lanzini is friends with Lo Celso and Reguilón, so he might have just got to see him play. Or Agent Lanzini has brought Lo Celso and Reguilón to the bowl, and I'd certainly take Reguilón as a left back. Lo Celso, I'm not so sure, but I'm sure Sean's going to put me right now. Kent says, all being well, I'm going to Rangers Tuesday, buzzing for it. Enjoy it, mate. Should be a good one. Rangers away for everybody going. Should be a great one. So sensible move is to take Broja on loan with an option to buy. West Ham are looking as a preference to sign him on a permanent just to get him down, but we could explore that, I think. Sean says Reguilón and Lo Celso both improve West Ham formats, suit both. If fully expected, both to be heading back to Spain for about 20 million each, though. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you're new to the channel. Become a member of the channel for just £3 a month. Supports the channel, and you do get member content, which I'm going to be bringing back before I go on the cruise. So look out for that on the membership page. So let's talk about this Scamacca then. So in the last kind of 20 minutes or so, and Phil, I'll come to you first. West Ham are battling with PSG for Scamacca. I'm not going to say his first name. who has a €50 million asking price. The Hammers are ready to make their own proposal for the striker, and there's all sorts going on. Everybody's coming out talking about it. I'm just going to try and find what Darmesh has said. Surely somebody has put it on it. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. So let's go off what Fabrizio said. So he said PSG no intention to pay more than €40 million for Scamacca. West Ham among clubs exploring this possibility in transfer domino that could include Armando Broja. Stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting time. So it's clear that West Ham United are interested in Scamacca. Come from PSG. Phil, I'll start with you. Do you believe this is kind of like a let's move Chelsea's eyes to look like we've moved on, and then we come back and sign Broja? What do you make of it?
I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest. I don't really know much about this guy. He's a striker, yeah?
He certainly is. Yeah.
How old is he?
Oh, shall I have a look? Shall I have a cheeky Google?
Yeah.
I don't spell his name. Sassuolo, that's where he is, isn't it? I don't know. Where's his transfer market page? Right, here we go. This is all live and off the cuff, people. Where are we? So he is a centre forward. He's 23 years old.
Good age.
Italian, he certainly is. Should we have a look at some stats whilst we're here as well? Why not? Current season.
I can judge him off that.
Yeah, so Serie A, let's go last season, 21-22 show. Last season, 36 games in the Serie A, 16 goals, no assists.
Okay, it's not too bad. Young age as well. Sassuolo, they're sort of a mid-table team anyway over there. What? For every Paolo Di Canio, there's a Simone Zaza, so it can go one way or the other. If PSG are going for him, then he must be decent. You know, they buy anyone they want. If we go for him, that'd be good. And if he does well, he does well. Oh, it'd be nice if we can get him and Broja together. It's a big ask because they're both big transfer fees. We're going for both of them, but only time will tell. It's hard to say really, because at the end of the day, it could just be another name that we've been linked with no real offers.
Substance, yeah.
7 cats for Italy there as well. Any goals for Italy?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot now. I would try and find that out. But yeah, at the end of the day, in Serie A, he seemed to play most of the games as Sassuolo's first team striker last season. 36 appearances, 16 goals, John. I mean, it's just come a bit out of nowhere, hasn't it? It seems like we were all set on Broja. Then this guy's been brought to the table.
As you say, it might be smoke and mirrors. You seem to know how this works. But, we're short on players, compared to the end of last season. And that's after a 56-game season. which, hopefully it'll be more this coming season if we go further in the Cups. So, they've got to be prepared for having a bigger squad, because we were running out of steam towards the back end of last season. We dropped points against Arsenal and so on, and away at the last game at Brighton and so on. So we need to have more fresh faces and a bigger squad to choose from. I've been saying this for a long, long time.
Yeah. And just to stop you there, we do have a goal to talk to you about. It's come from the Boreham Wood game. West Ham United have made it 1-0 against Boreham Wood with a superb free kick curled from outside of the box from none other than Saeed Benrahma has made it 1-0 to West Ham against Boreham Wood. So still, as it stands, 0-0 between West Ham and Ipswich, but we've taken the lead against Boreham Wood with what the West Ham Twitter admin says is a superb free kick from Saeed Benrahma. Do you think that will do his confidence any good in a pre-season game, Phil?
Maybe. Could just be like another training camp routine for them, really, especially with it being Boreham. But any goal is always a good confidence booster, no matter if it's pre-season or Carabao Cup or anything like that. It's good as long as he plays well, gets his fitness up. They always get a goal in there. It's always that nice little confidence booster. It makes you feel good inside as a footballer. So, hopefully he can crack on and get a couple more goals in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And also to talk to you about in the Ipswich game, we actually should be losing. Ladapo has hit the post. Ipswich should be in front. Downs loses possession against his old team midway inside the Ipswich half, and West Ham are caught too high up in the pitch. Ladapo is sent free from the halfway line and is in on goal. However, he has taken a bit too long to decide what to do. Alese races back, and his presence is just enough to force the striker to slide his shot past Fabianski and against the outside of the right-hand post. The ball bubbles away for a goal kick. So not fantastic stuff from Downs against his former club, but Alese gets back and restricts Ipswich from scoring their first goal as it remains 0-0 at Portman Road. I feel like Jeff Stelling tonight, but let's move on. It's a goal. I don't know what happened, but it's a Saeed Benrahma free kick. I do know what happens. Superb from Benny. Just while we take a breath, let's talk about Iron Supported Food Banks for a couple of minutes. John, talk to us about what's currently going on with Iron Supported Food Banks.
Well, I don't know where to start, really. Last week we had a couple of days down in London, rented a van, brought down 2,000 cans of lemonade, which had been donated for a cancelled order for Holden and Barrett health drinks. So we brought a couple of thousand down and we distributed those to 8 food banks and community centres last week. Plus, I think we had 12 grand's worth of the Umbro sports gear, Iconics brands. So Lee Cooper, Umbro, Star, caps and so on. So all very, very good quality, brand new items. So again, we've been able to move those around and even made a little visit south of the river to our friends at Millwall. We're quite active, and as part of the national fans food bank group, they do a lot for the size of the club, and it was quite interesting to go down to their ground and see they've got a permanent presence there. They have a lock-up container for the food bank, and they're well looked after, the volunteers by the club, and so we made a little donation to them as well.
Brilliant.
And then this week, today, there's an article on us in the Telegraph Online, Telegraph Sport, on us, Manchester City, a little bit about Southend Food Bank, and quite a nice positive article, really, just to keep the profile going during the close season. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm going to put the link to that article from the Telegraph into the chat. So if you want to have a look, you can, and see the fantastic work that is going on across the country. You can find that link and the article in the chat now if you want to go and look at that. John, keep up the fantastic work, and I'm sure we will be revisiting and supporting Iron Supported Food Banks as a fan base when we kick off the season again. Brilliant. But anyway, let's move on then and talk about Onana is next on our hit list. West Ham want to sign another midfielder this summer and have already had 2 bids rejected for Lille's Amadou Onana. The Hammers are again weighing up whether they should go back in with a third bid for the 20-year-old or move on to other targets. So I think we've bid about 20 million and then about 25 to 30 million, and that's been rejected. They want around about 35 to 40 million pounds for their 20-year-old. Heard much about him? I feel I'll come to you first. Great start. None of us have.
No, when I heard Onana, I thought of the goalkeeper.
So did I.
Yeah, but was it 20 years old, midfielder? So how much they want? They want, was it 35 to 40 million?
Yeah, apparently.
And we're haggling over what? An extra 5 million or something like that.
Seems like it. Typical West Ham, eh?
Yeah, it is. Just pay the money and get it done with.
Just pay them money.
Just do it.
He seems to be quite a versatile player, John. Defensive midfield. He's slipped into centre back in the past, also central midfield, so can play all over the midfield and along those defensive positions. 20 years old. He's got some pace. He's not scared to get the ball and run through midfields and defences as well. A speedy, young, seems like a very good midfielder. Do you think we should be spending that sort of money on another midfielder where we think we probably need a left back and a striker more?
Well, I'm hoping there's no one else out of the door, but yeah, pay the money, please. Mr. Sullivan, at 20, he's got plenty of time for more coaching as well, which I think, that's really going to be a selling point. To when a player realises they can be improved. It's like when Jared Bowen came as well. He was told how he could improve, and look at the results now. So if we're developing a track record of improving on players like this, then I'm sure it's transparent enough for a lot of players to see how they can develop and become better players at West Ham.
Yeah, definitely. I think the trend we're getting, Phil, with these transfer rumours and evidently transfers as well, is we seem to be linked with and signing young players. I don't think we've seen much over the age of 25, really. And you can see what David Moyes is building here.
Yeah, it's good to get a younger team anyway, a lot more fresher legs, and obviously they've got a lot more potential as well. Like I said earlier about Broja with sell-on values, that's why a lot of they teams operate like that nowadays, where they'll get players relatively cheap and then they'll sell them on in a couple of years for a bigger profit. I don't want to be like, I want players to stay for as long as they possibly can, but it's always good if they get better and you can sell them for a lot more money. But it's in the past where we've gone for over the hill players, we've gone a few players over 30, and they're past their best. So with players, especially under the age of 25, they've got all those years to grow and they can improve, and we can get the best out of them. Some players have been hit and miss in the past, like when we signed Diop, for example. He was 22, I think it was, when we signed him.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind him, but he's not been a world beater, has he? So
we thought he was after that Man United game.
That's right. But it's hit and miss. But it's good to go for the younger players. I know we signed Areola permanently. He's 29, but goalkeepers they can last a lot longer, and he'll be there a long time. Onana, 20 years old, good few years. He can be with us. But if we do sign him, obviously it's another body in midfield. It even pushes kind of commentary a bit further back down. In a positive way, it means we're going to be all right in the midfield department.
Yeah.
So
that's a really interesting point about Conor Coventry. He starts alongside Flynn Downs in midfield tonight, John. Do you think signing another midfielder almost puts the final nail in Conor Coventry's West Ham coffin, to almost, to put that as an illusion?
We've had Krall and Noble to replace in midfield, so that's a start. And the other issue is, I think it was well documented that we had one of the oldest playing squads in the Premier League last season. So, I can understand why they're looking at, the time is now to spend on younger players.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we can all see where we're going with this. David Moyes made it very clear that he needs that he wants to get what we've been calling for a couple of windows, a couple of strikers, a left back, this and that. We all know what we want, and he just hasn't done it recently. And it seems like now he's kind of seen the light, and he's doing what we all want him to do, and we can see the direction that he's sending West Ham in. I do think there's an element of truth in this. Go careful with scouting in the French league. It is a slight gamble. They can go either way from that league. They certainly can. And David Moyes seems to be a fan of scouting from the French league. He's obviously seen something there, and he does like dipping into the French league quite often. Let's have a look here. Kent says Onana is Cecchiato with good feet and taller. Yeah,
I'll take
he does
that.
seem like
Yeah. Too.
I was a big fan of Chiati as well.
Most people were. People were. Yeah, he does seem like that sort of player, Kent. Yeah, I agree. Lee, hope you are well. Evening all. Is anyone disappointed we didn't go out for Keane Lewis Potter? Yeah, he's now gone to Brentford.
A little bit, yeah.
And Aaron Hickey, the left back as well, who has also gone to Brentford. So 2 of our targets have gone to Brentford, which is disappointing, but it's no good looking in the past now. We might as well just carry on and try and find.
Never say never. We'll
Yeah.
sign him off Brentford in a couple of years. You never know.
Exactly. Michael says, hope you well. Broja struggled to get into the Southampton team, 9 goals in 38 games. For 30 million, I just don't rate him. I hope I made to eat my words. I hope you eat your words as well,
Yeah.
Michael. Not in a nasty way, but yeah, if we do sign him, I do see where people are coming from with this, because he wasn't fantastic. He wasn't ripping up trees. I did see potential there, and I do think and as John rightly said earlier on, with a better backroom staff, with better creative players around him, I do automatically think he does become a better player. Have we scored?
Over to you.
There we go, and it's come through. Zuma has scored. Ipswich Town 0, West Ham United 1. We'll come to that in a second, but firstly, Antonio hit the woodwork about 5 minutes ago, just before a drinks break, 25 minutes in a very hot Ipswich. Mikel Antonio has looked the most likely West Ham player, but Kurt Zuma scored the goal. Antonio hit the woodwork, and 5 minutes later, a ball over the top for Antonio to chase, sees Burgess race back and concede a needless corner. Ipswich half clear as Oko flex. He is challenged, but the ball is worked to Antonio, who takes a touch and clips over a right foot cross, which Zuma meets with a downward header. Walton saves but can't hold on, and Zuma prods in the loose ball from 6 yards. West Ham lead. So the ball comes in, Zuma heads it, it's saved, it comes straight back out to the Frenchman, and he hits it into the back of the net, which means we are leading in both pre-season games, 1-0 at Boreham Wood and 1-0 at Ipswich. Sky Sports, sign me up as the new Jeff Stelling.
I was just going to say that.
To be fair, though, I do think there's a typo on the West Ham website there. What does it say? Ipswich half clear as far as Okoflex. Oh, as far as Okoflex, I see. I see. There wasn't a grammatical error there, West Ham admin. I do forgive you. Kent says we need another proper centre midfielder. We were short last season. Yeah, and do we think that's where Conor Coventry could come in, or do we think that's too big of a risk?
Could be a risk, but we've got games, haven't we? If we can get through to the next round of the Conference League, then he's got a few games in there to play. Got the Carabao Cup as well. Yeah. Come on as last 10, 15 minutes of a few Premier League games. We can see what he's all about, and then he'll have a good period at the end of this year when the World Cup's on. Get his fitness up, keep fit. And then he could be a real asset in the second half of the season. So you never know. Yeah,
you do never know. James, hope you have a good evening, all you excessively happy hammers. I like that. Hope you well, James. Hope you are keeping well. Let's scroll down. Noble hardly played last season, though, did he? Yeah, he didn't. And that was, and of course, Crowell played 1 minute of Premier League football last season, so it was massively put down to Rice and Souček. But Noble did play quite a fair few games, so he did play minutes last season. Noble. I think some people would be surprised how many he actually played, but yeah, he didn't play a huge amount, but he definitely did. He definitely did play. Kent says, I'd like to keep Diop and use him as a right centre-back, which gives us options to play 3 at the back. I don't think Coventry is good enough and reminds me of Cullen. Of course, Cullen's gone to Burnley today. He went.
Oh, was he? I knew he would.
Back. He's signed for Burnley down in the Championship.
Good luck to him.
Noble made 23 appearances last year.
That's not too bad, is it?
the majority of them were off the bench, but he still came onto the pitch 23 times last season.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you, John?
Sorry, we're talking about
Noble, who made 23 appearances last year. I didn't think it was quite that many.
I really didn't think there were that many that he had. Certainly didn't start very many games, but you know, he always had an influence when he came on, except for the home game with Manchester United, of course. But
moving on,
it's great that he was involved so much. Everybody knew it was his last season, and you know, every minute he was on the pitch, he gave it all. And even, you know, warming up at the home and away games, he always got a good reception. And yeah, I just hope that they'll find him something at the club now as an ambassador of sorts.
100%. That's got to be what happens. Lots of people asking about whether the games are being streamed tonight. They are not, unfortunately. You'll have to keep up with the live blog on the West Ham website, or you can just listen to me as the commentary comes through. 34 minutes in at Ipswich, big chance for 2-0 missed. Antonio is in again on the right-hand side of the home penalty area with a centre-back at his shoulder. The number 9 has a sight of goal, but his right foot shot rises high over the crossbar from about 14 yards out. That sounds about right, doesn't it? 14 yards out, blazes it over to Norwich. That sounds about right. That sounds like the Mikel Antonio we know.
Reminds me of the Bobby Zamora song.
Wind by his head.
Yeah. What's the scores? 1-0 in both games. We are winning in both games. I know. I don't know how we couldn't get streams sorted for it, mate, but you know, we are talking about West Ham here. We are talking about West Ham. George says 11 league, 9 Europa League, 1 FA Cup and 2 EFL Cups for Noble, I presume, last season. Plenty. And plenty of games played by our man. Not being streamed, mate. There is no stream for the games. But in terms of transfer rumours on a whole, are we happy with the progression that we are making and we have already made? Phil, I'll come to you first.
Once actual deals are actually done, then I can be more happy. You know, at the end of the day, nothing's been done yet. You know, the other week we were still thinking about, is Danjuma going to be signing? Yeah. That's not going to be happening. Broja has been going on for some time now. Once these deals are completed and it's official, then it's easy to say whether I'm going to be happy or not. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. You know, we've got to judge it when the season starts. At the end of the day, see where we are and see how many players we've got over the line, John.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Dan says. It's great once they're over the line, but you know, we seem to work at 2 separate levels. If you look at the Areola thing, that seemed to go on forever. You know, the re-signing of him. At one extreme, and then on the other extreme, we had Downs suddenly appear from nowhere, and even Mark Warburton on the coaching staff that seemed to come from nowhere. So you know, the club works in mysterious ways.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Let's take some of your comments. James has seen something about Sarr tonight. That seems to have gone quiet. The whole Dennis and Sarr situation, that seems to have gone to the back burner. Whether that re-evolves and comes back again, we will have to wait and see. Troy says, it is surprising how much you played Noble last season. Shows we need Downs. It certainly does. Joey, hope you are well. I think Scamacca would be a brilliant signing for us. Can't remember a bad Italian signing for us, bar Zaza, of course, certainly. Yeah, we do seem to have had some decent Italians come through the door. And if we do sign him, hopefully he could be another one. So let's go through and rate how much we think that deals are going to happen. Then Broja, if you could give it out of 10, what's the probability of him signing, John?
Oh, I'm going for a 9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if this is, you know, words from the horse's mouth that he wants to come, and yeah, I'll go for a 9 with that.
Phil, are you that confident?
I'll go for 7 for now, but just
cautious.
I'll just say 7.
Yeah. I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go an 8 because I do think it will happen.
7, 8,
I do
9.
think it. I do think it will happen, but we are still talking about West Ham here, so anything can happen. We don't know until we have the jazzy intro video with Broja saying, "Come on, you Iron." Sharky shares your optimism, John, with a 9, 8, 7, and 7 as well. So yeah, there is optimism about him coming to West Ham. What about our other striker then, that's really come onto the scene in the last few minutes or so? Scamacca, can you see anything coming of that, John?
I'd like to think so. I'm sort of wavering between 6 and 7 on this one, especially with PSG involved as well. But again, I'm hopeful, and push me to be more optimistic. I'll go for 7.
John, Phil.
This has come fresh, isn't it? And we're battling with PSG. So
we are.
Who do you want to play with, Antonio or Messi? I think it's going to be Antonio, obviously. So I think it's early days. So 5.5.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'd go for around a 4 or a 5.
Yeah.
For me, this is a good comment here. Scamacca would be a great signing, but unlikely to happen. 3, until we get some more. There are plenty of people talking about it, but I don't know. I just can't see it. All of the transfer experts are coming out tonight in their forces saying there's no bid yet, but we are very much interested in him. Sharky goes for 5. Unlikely it's going to happen. I think so. I think it is unlikely. I'd be surprised if it happens. I'll go to that extent, but West Ham, it's a bag of surprises, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be a good surprise for once. But there we go. So it's currently 1-0, I believe, in both pre-season matches as we leave you. Anything else that you guys would like to that you guys would like to discuss before we wrap things up?
That's it from me. So it was a pleasure to come on board, and good chance
likewise.
to see Phil again. Hope the job's going okay, Phil.
Yes. It's been all right. Been here at the new job for about a few weeks now. My first week was when there was a rail strike, so that was fun. So I'm not a union member yet, but that's a different story. It's all right. There was what happened yesterday? I come back from a break, and then there was a points failure just outside Liverpool Street, so that was fun. So I had loads of people waiting. But I was expecting it, and I think a lot of people probably thought I was going to get a bit overwhelmed with it. But I was just comparing it to when I was working on the boats, and I thought, at least I can just get everyone through it rather than say stop. There's no more space or anything like that. So
just as we speak, Phil, we've got some disappointing news coming through from Boreham Wood. West Ham United have conceded an equaliser from Boreham Wood. Will Evans scoring from a corner on the 42nd minute in Boreham Wood. It is Boreham Wood 1, West Ham United 1. So we are restricted back to a draw currently there, but we are still leading. And some good news about Flynn Downs coming through. He's one of our own. As I said earlier, I can't see the West Ham fans sat opposite, says the admin, but I can hear them. And Flynn Downs has just been treated to a chorus of "He's one of our own" from his fellow Hammers. Nice moment for the number 12 who is making his debut for the club. He supports against one he previously played for this evening. He looks neat and tidy in possession for the most part, save for the heart in mouth moment which led to Ladapo hitting the post, and he has put himself out there well and looks up for the challenge. So good from the West Ham fans. He's one of our own. He is one of our own, Flynn Downs. So hopefully we can see a good performance and progression from him in the second half. So leading 1, drawing 1 as it stands in the pre-season games. Thanks everyone for watching. Moyes out, we conceded a goal. What is going on? When's the Europa Conference League draw? I don't know. I would have to find that out.
2nd of August.
2nd of August.
Well, 2nd of August.
We'll be doing a stream for that then. 2 days before my birthday. We'll be back from the cruise, doing the Europa League Conference draw to see what team from Slovenia we're going to draw in that competition. Phil and John, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Cheers, pleasure was always, Jake.
Hopefully we can get some signings. Hopefully we can get some signings over the line, whether it is Onana, whether it is Scamacca, Broja, or whoever else decides to put their sixpence on the table. From me, John, and Phil, Come on, your irons. We'll catch you soon.
Come
Right
on,
here
your
on West
irons.
Ham Unofficial.
Okay,
And
Thank
good
you.
luck to the boys tonight. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for all your comments.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.